All right, let's talk about this landmark paper, Extraterrestrial Cause for the Cretaceous-Tertiary Extinction. But really, what we're doing here is cracking open a cold case. A very, very cold case. We're talking 65 million years old. We're going to follow the clues, piece by piece, and see how a team of scientists solved one of the greatest mysteries our planet has ever known. So, this is the big question, right? You've got a mass extinction event. The dinosaurs and half of all life on Earth are your victims, and the crime scene is literally the entire planet. For decades, nobody could agree on what happened, but the key piece of evidence, the smoking gun, was sitting right there in plain sight, hidden in a layer of rock no thicker than your finger.
Now, before we get to the evidence, you know that every good detective story starts by surveying the crime scene. So let's establish the facts of the case. What exactly happened, and who were the victims of this ancient catastrophe?
Okay, let's set the scene. We're rewinding the clock 65 million years. We're at this precise moment in geological time that marks the boundary between two huge eras. You have the Cretaceous period, the age of dinosaurs, ending, and the Tertiary period, the age of mammals, beginning. This line in the sand, it's called the KT boundary, and it marks a moment of incredibly sudden and violent change.
And when I say change, I mean devastation. The list of victims is just staggering. Of course, you got the dinosaurs, gone. The giant flying reptiles like the pterosaurs, gone. The massive reptiles ruling the seas, gone too. And it wasn't just the big guys. Tiny organisms got hammered. Ammonites, belemnites, and most of the plankton in the oceans just vanished. When all was said and done, about half of all living genera on the planet were wiped out. This was a biological reset button on a global scale.
So the obvious question is, what did it? Who done it? For years, scientists had a lineup of the usual suspects. Maybe it was some kind of slow, gradual climate change. Or, hey, what about a reversal of the Earth's magnetic field? Some even looked to the stars, suggesting a nearby supernova. But here's the thing. As the paper itself points out, nobody could really agree. All these theories were missing one absolutely critical thing: cold, hard, physical evidence. The huge break in the case came from a pretty unlikely place. Not from some giant dinosaur bone, but from this thin, kind of boring-looking layer of clay in a gorge near Gubbio, Italy. And this is where our detectives, a team led by the father-son duo Luis and Walter Alvarez, started digging.
And this is it. This is the crime scene tape. Now, what's really interesting is that the Alvarez team wasn't even looking for the cause of the extinction at first. Nope, they had a much simpler question. They just wanted to know, how long did this extinction take? They figured this little clay layer, sandwiched between the age of dinosaurs below and the age of mammals above, could act as a sort of geological stopwatch.
I mean, just look at this. These images show you the crisis in stunning detail. What you're seeing are microscopic fossils of plankton. On the left, from just below that clay layer, the ocean is teeming with life, all these big, diverse, complex forms. And then on the right, from right above the clay, they're almost all gone, wiped out, replaced by just a few tiny, simple survivors. Whatever happened, it happened right here. In this moment, it was like a light switch was flipped.
So, to figure out how long that clay layer took to form, the Alvarez team needed a timer. They decided to look for a specific element that trickles down from space as cosmic dust at a more or less constant rate. But instead of a clock, they found something that blew the case wide open. They found the killer's fingerprint.
And that fingerprint was an element called iridium. Now here's what you need to know about iridium. It's super, super rare on the Earth's surface. Why? Because when the Earth was a hot, molten ball, most of the heavy stuff, including iridium, sank down to the core. But you know where it's not rare? In asteroids and meteorites. They're packed with the stuff. So if you find a whole bunch of iridium in a layer of rock, that's a huge clue that it came from space.
And what they found in that thin clay layer was just wild. The amount of iridium wasn't just a little higher. It was 30 times higher than the rock above and below it. This wasn't some tiny little blip. It was a massive, screaming anomaly. It was a clue that pointed straight up, away from Earth and out into space.
Just look at this graph from the original paper. It tells the whole story. You can see the background levels of iridium are just kind of bumping along the bottom, nice and low. And then, boom, right at the boundary, it shoots up like a skyscraper. This was it. This was their smoking gun. Okay, but any good detective has to wonder, was this just some weird local thing happening in Italy? To really build their case, the team had to see if this fingerprint showed up at other crime scenes. And oh, did it ever.
In Denmark, the iridium was 160 times normal. In New Zealand, 20 times normal. It was everywhere they looked. This wasn't a local event. This was a global catastrophe.
So the killer came from outer space.
Case closed, right?
Well, not quite. See, there were two main extraterrestrial suspects on the table. It could have been an asteroid from right here in our solar system, or it could have been debris from a nearby exploding star, a supernova. Good science means ruling out all the other possibilities.
And the team was brilliant. They realized they could actually test these two ideas. See, a supernova wouldn't just dump iridium on us. It would also leave behind other really specific exotic elements and isotopes that you just wouldn't find in a regular old asteroid. They knew exactly what to look for.
And the test results were crystal clear. First, they looked for something called plutonium-244, which is a key signature of a supernova. Result? They found nothing, not a trace. Then, they checked the iridium itself. If it came from a distant star system, its atomic makeup, its isotopic ratio, would be different from ours. But it wasn't. It was a perfect match for the iridium found in our own solar system. With that, the supernova hypothesis was officially off the table.
With the supernova cleared of all charges, there was only one suspect left standing. Now the team could finally build their complete theory of the crime, connecting a single rock from space to the extinction of the dinosaurs.
So how big was this thing? Based on the total amount of iridium they found sprinkled all over the globe, they did the math. And the number they landed on is just hard to even wrap your head around. They estimated the asteroid had a diameter of about 10 kilometers. That's an object the size of Mount Everest hurtling towards Earth at an incredible speed.
And here it is. This is the chain of events that connects that rock to the extinction. First, the 10-kilometer asteroid slams into Earth. The impact is so powerful, it vaporizes the asteroid and blasts something like 60 times its own mass in pulverized rock high up into the stratosphere. This dust quickly spreads, wrapping the entire planet in a thick, dark shroud. For years, sunlight can't get through. Photosynthesis grinds to a halt. Plants on land and plankton in the sea die off. And with the very foundation of the food web gone, the entire system collapses. And that leads directly to the mass extinction.
The evidence was there. The mechanism made sense. The Alvarez team had solved the 65-million-year-old cold case. And in doing so, they didn't just explain the past. They gave us a completely new way of understanding the history of our own planet.
This quote from the summary of their 1980 paper just nails it. The theory was so powerful because it was so elegant. The darkness from the impact dust cloud perfectly explained the patterns they saw in the fossil record. It all clicked. A single physical event causing a global biological catastrophe.
And this, really, is the ultimate takeaway. For more than a century, science thought of Earth's history as this slow, gradual process. But the asteroid impact theory brought back the idea of catastrophism. It showed us that Earth's story is also one of sudden, violent, cosmic interruptions that can completely rewrite the course of life in the blink of a geological eye.
But of course, an asteroid the size of a mountain should have left behind an absolutely enormous crater, right? Well, when the paper was published, that crater was missing. It was the one piece of the puzzle that was still unaccounted for. For more than a decade, scientists searched for it. And its eventual discovery, well, that's another incredible detective story all on its own. But we'll have to save that one for another time.